The news of Julie Payette's resignation shocked many Canadians. But if reports are to be believed, those close to her would have known that the premature end of her time as Governor General had been a long time coming. Despite all of the perks and prestige that come with holding the office of the Governor General, she had purportedly hated holding the position from the very beginning. Whether out of spite for the situation she found herself in, or a set of pre-existing character traits that were not identified by an insubstantial vetting process, Payette and her aide are widely accused of having relentlessly bullied her staff for years, resulting in their very forced resignations. The Governor General in Canada may be seen as a figurehead, or what some people may refer to as a rubber stamp, but it's a position whose vital functions within the Government of Canada becomes painfully obvious when it is vacant. The Governor-General is the direct personal representative of the independently and uniquely Canadian sovereign, called the ex officio Viceroy. This may sound strange, but Queen Elizabeth is technically the Queen of Canada, which is a completely separate title to the Queen of England. In Queen Elizabeth's absence, which is almost all of modern Canadian history, the Governor-General assumes all of her responsibilities. These include, but are not limited to, choosing the Prime Minister of Canada and the Cabinet technically, approving any and all federal elections, approving laws, and is officially the Commander-in-Chief of the Canadian Militia, along with carrying out hundreds of ceremonial duties. Without someone serving in the role of the Governor-General, no ministers can be appointed or changed, the Prime Minister included. No federal elections can be called, and no laws can be passed. In return for carrying out these vital duties, Governors General are rewarded hand over fist. Rideau Hall in Ottawa, the closest thing Canada has to Buckingham Palace, and La Citadelle in Quebec become their private residences. These residences/offices include aides de camp, press officers, financial managers, speechwriters, trip organizers, event planners, protocol officers, chefs, waiters, and cleaning staff. The Governor-General is given an extensive security detail, a coat of arms, the Order of Canada, a salary of $288,000 per year, and access to a fleet of Bombardier Challenger 600 VIP jets for trips abroad. Under normal circumstances, the Governor-General, even after their term, receives an unlimited expense account from the Government of Canada. You can see why advising the Queen on who to select as Governor-General is among one of the most important duties of any Prime Minister. Yet among all of these privileges, Julie Payette, within her first year of office, was supposedly dissatisfied. The media began to raise issues about questionable spending projects at Rideau Hall, due to her seemingly unreasonable demands for privacy from the public and security, and her refusal to move into Rideau Hall even after renovations were complete. It was later revealed that Payette had spent over $250,000 of taxpayer dollars to design a private staircase that was never built, while the other half of that money was used to build a gate and a series of doors to keep people away from her office. And these aren't just accusations. This was confirmed by an official report by the National Capital Commission, which manages the official Governors General residence. Another idea of Payette's was that she wanted a door for her cats to be able to exit the living quarters on the second floor and go outside. That idea then somehow morphed into having a private exit for Payette herself. Throughout all of these antics, rumors were circulating about Payette's and her hand-selected aides' questionable conduct, even when excluding their strange expenditures. Last year, because of these rumors, the Privy Council Office, or PCO, hired an independent consulting firm to review reports that Payette and Assunta Di Lorenzo were responsible for workplace harassment at Rideau Hall. Although the report has not been made public, its mere existence was enough to make Julie Payette resign on the day of its completion. No formal complaints were ever filed, so we have no idea what actually went on within the confines of Rideau Hall during the past 3 years. Our only substantive confirmation of misconduct comes from the president of the Queen's Privy Council for Canada, Dominic LeBlanc, who said that the PCO report had disturbing and worrisome conclusions. Although the responsibility for our Governor General's actions unreservedly rests on Payette's shoulders, this affair has had implications for Trudeau. Prior to Trudeau's time as Prime Minister, Stephen Harper had set up a nonpartisan parliamentary committee to select Governors General. This was the way that the Right Honourable David Johnston was chosen, who, because of a minority government and his exceptional service, served longer than the regularly allotted 5-year term. But when Trudeau won in 2015, he did away with this committee, and now he's under fire for it, seeing as this is perhaps the worst debacle involving a Canadian Governor-General since the King Byng affair. He and Payette have yet to issue apologies. Instead, Payette has been hounded for using the excuse that people experience things differently, an excuse that hasn't exactly landed or drawn much sympathy. The lack of a proper vetting committee may have been the reason behind all of this. Although Payette is an unarguably accomplished Canadian, being one of the few people from the country to have ever gone to space, reports similar to the accusations of her time as Governor General have followed her throughout her career. She has been followed by controversy through her professional and personal relationships, both having complaints at previous jobs and in her private life. In the United States in 2011, while Payette was driving, she struck and killed a pedestrian who had stepped off a curb. The case was closed without charges as she was found not at fault. On November 24th of the same year, Payette was charged with second-degree assault in Maryland. These charges too were later dropped, but those weren't the reasons she resigned, and were apparently not reason enough in Trudeau's mind to deny her the position. Her actions while in the position, however, were clearly enough to warrant the end of her tenure. Luckily, there are protocols in place for an abrupt resignation from the position of Governor General. On the day that Julie Payette resigned, January 21st, 2021, the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of Canada, Richard Wagner, was sworn in as the administrator of the government to perform all of the duties of the Governor General while the position remains vacant. But even though her duties will be performed and Canada's government will continue to operate as usual, Trudeau has a bigger issue than the method he used to select Payette. As we said earlier in the video, Governors General are given an unlimited taxpayer-funded expense account for life. And knowing all about Payette's previous expenditures and her disdain for the position, the hope that she uses that expense account in a reasonable fashion seems closer to a pipe dream than the expectation. How much responsibility or blame Trudeau will take from the affair will become apparent in the coming weeks, but it follows a long line of embarrassing scandals for a prime minister who is ostensibly a media darling. And whether we will ever find out the smoking gun that forced Payette to resign is still unknown. If anything, this scandal shows that the position of Governor General should not be taken lightly, or be seen as a useless frivolity in Canadian politics. They hold tremendous power, can wield unlimited control over taxpayer funds on a whim, and, if not properly selected, they can cause constitutional crises and become a source of national embarrassment.